You know who else is a legend? He's a star on a tube. He looks damn clean. It's Festus Ezeli. He's on the roast here on 95.7 The Game. Festus, a.k.a. Rebuilding the Beast.
Oh.
I can't believe you're up this early. I mean, after your weekend, Halloween weekend, I can't believe you're up at 8:35.
What'd you do?
Bonta, what's going on, man? What's up, point guard? What's going on? Yo, listen, you can't keep holding me to this standard, man. One tough day after a long weekend. It was Halloween weekend. I get a break, man. It's okay.
So let me ask you a question. I saw that you were dressed as the Black Panther.
Killmonger.
What?
Killmonger.
Yeah. So what were you out on the town? Was it the same exact outfit?
I had different versions of the Black Panther.
Okay.
That's the movie that I absolutely love.
Me too.
What it stood for, the significance. Obviously, you know, I'm born and raised in Nigeria and came here as a 14, 15-year-old with a dream. And so that dream was reinstated in the movie over and over and over, this idea of like the black culture being celebrated. And so I just love the movie. I love what it stands for. That's something that just sticks with me. I can't wait. November 11th. I don't know. They're not paying me for this ad, but November 11th.
No, it's great. Michael B. Jordan, great bad guy in that one. You know, it's interesting. You brought up that you came here at 14, 15 years old. Have you and Kuminga have any conversations just about, you know, the whole transitioning to American culture in general? Like, I remember when Yasiel Puig joined the Dodgers, I felt like we didn't have a good grasp on how difficult his day-to-day life was. And we're just, oh, my God, he's batting 260, and why can't he do this? And then it's like, man, there's such a bigger thing going on here. Have you talked to him about, and I know he's been here for quite some time, but it's still difficult for him to adjust to, you know, just American culture and society. Have you talked to them about that?
Absolutely, yeah. We've had conversations about that. And to be honest, man, it's not something that anybody, even his journey is different from mine, right? Because I came here and I had my family, I had my uncle who I lived with at the time, and it was a tough transition for a 14-year-old. His thing has been different as well because he moved to somewhere way isolated, was playing basketball, you know, and then also to be able to have left high school at 18 years old or 17, I don't even know what it was, to go play pro. That's a whole nother different beast that I didn't have to go through. So what Jonathan Kuminga has been able to accomplish to get to the point he's at now and what he's dealing with is he's also transitioning, being on a team in the NBA championship team, understanding that he's super talented. He's going to be one of the future rock stars in this NBA for a long time. But just understanding that he also has to be patient as he's watching these older guys, these more experienced guys, but these champion Hall of Famers he's in front of, just being able to learn from them and know that his time will come. I think that's another tough thing for a young guy to understand. But he's been doing such a great job, and you know, this team is so loaded. This is also part of having such a deep team that we celebrated so much. We talk about this team being kind of like the 14-15 or 15-16 team. I don't know, whatever team that we had in the past that we always said strength in numbers. Well, that sounds good when we're all firing all cylinders, but sometimes I think, you know, when you're not playing or, you know, you're dealing with some of that. We had stretches of games where Sean Livingston didn't play. Right. We had stretches of games where Barbosa or myself or Mo Spates or Andrew Bolt, just because we were so deep of a team. I think that's some of the tough things for a young guy to deal with, but I feel like he's been doing a great job. He came in the game, what game was it? Was it Detroit? Came in and gave us some good minutes over there, and he's just been he's an athlete. You can see that all the time, but you can also see his IQ developing as the games go on. So I love to see that part of his progression.
Talking to Festus Ezeli here on 95.7 The Game, the Morning Roast. Of course, my big man on NBC Sports, Bay Area Warriors pre- and post-game live, and we always go to you about the bigs because, Festus, you're big and you love the big man. It's back in the NBA, but when it comes to James Wiseman, you just used the word patience when it came to Jonathan Kuminga, and I think we could use the same word for James Wiseman. Everyone is preaching patience with Wise, but what are the signs we would want to look for on the court in his performance that will show us whether or not the patience is paying off?
Absolutely. You see him getting – by the way, Bonta, I love the way you set me up. This is my point guard over here. He's always throwing me lives on TV. So if you guys haven't seen us on the pre- and post-game shows, y'all got to check us out. I love it. James Wiseman, obviously, he's a big man that gives a different kind of look to this Warriors team. This team won the championship last year without a true center, right? You have Kevon Looney, who played out of his mind last year, played all the 82 games, and came into the playoffs rebounding at an incredible rate and playing defense on all the big men. So there's so much for James to learn from Kevon. All right, for an undersized big man to play defense that he played, and Draymond played, and Andrew Wiggins played on Jokic in the playoffs, that was huge for us. Even though Jokic had some big games, he was supposed to have that. He's an MVP. So I think that those kind of things, like the ability to guard and defend and understand like the next play mentality, understand that you have to make things tough on the other guy on the defense, and sometimes they might score. That doesn't mean you're playing bad defense. James continues to show progress on the offensive end. On the offensive end, he doesn't think. You just see him catch the ball and he goes to the rim.
Right.
Great, amazing finisher. Left, right hand. He's got the jump hook going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was watching Evan Mobley last night, and I see him, just the aggressiveness in his mind. He doesn't think when it comes to the offensive end or the defensive end.
Yep.
I think that comes with time on the court. And so when you talk about James Wiseman being on a team like this, back to the same concept of strength in numbers, of having a deep team, you're not going to be able to play through all your mistakes. And so a lot of your progression is going to have to come from watching film or from practice time, which they don't get a lot of practice time because they're on the road or they have a lot of veterans. So, like, the things that you're asking from James right now is, run to the rim. He's been doing an amazing job of that. He's in great shape. You see him running to the rim. He's an athletic guy. So bother shots on the defensive end. Make people shoot over a hand. Play without fouling, which also for a young guy is tough because you don't understand tendencies yet. You don't understand that guys sometimes come in the paint to shot fake, like Jimmy Butler, right? Bam Adebayo. These are people who there's tendencies that you got to understand. You understand just from playing against guys over and over. And then at the same time, you don't understand how big and strong you are. Mm-hmm. As a 7-footer, sometimes you don't have to jump. If you're going against a Jimmy Butler, just put your hands up. That's a really tough shot to make. So James has been making progress in all these areas. I think that sometimes when you see the fouls and things, you don't understand that he's actually making progress. Mm-hmm. It's just an over-eagerness. He has the eagerness to be out there on the court and make a difference. But if you watch him on the offensive end, he's so fluid. Mm-hmm. He's so tough to guard. He's got a shot. He runs the floor hard. He's athletic. He catches lobs. And so it's just a gradual progression. Like I said, you got to give it time.
They've had stretches of success, and then they've had stretches where it looks bad. So what's the area that you're going to look for in today's game that you want to see them take a step forward as a team?
I just want to see them compete. I love the way they competed against Miami. I thought that was a really hard-fought game. They came in the game and they had an idea, but here's what I see that the team is struggling with. It's communication. Communication, especially on the defensive end. You know, like I think Bonta, you talked about it on the air last time where you said, finishing quarters. Mm-hmm. They've been struggling finishing quarters. Well, I saw them finish the second quarter better than they did the first.
Right.
I saw them finish the third quarter better. It's just like, then now you have to put the whole game together, right? Mm-hmm. The first and fourth quarters are just as important because the first quarter sets the tone of the game. Mm-hmm. And that gets people to understand, listen, I can get a stop when I want to get a stop. I can get a score when I want to get a score. Well, that showed in the fourth quarter because we couldn't get a stop and we couldn't score. 30-15 scored in the fourth quarter last game. So now I'm looking for them to this is not going to be an easy game today either. The young guys over there in Orlando, their record, right. And I think this is where sometimes people get fooled by looking at people's records. That's not indicative of how good a team is.
Right.
Right? The Orlando Magic has been in every game that they've played, all 48 minutes. They play hard. They're also young, so they don't know how to win and finish games. So for the Warriors, I think that one thing I want to see us take a step forward in is our communication, understanding that you got to be on a string on the defensive end, knowing when to switch. Because I saw a lot of situations where there's a made basket, two guys get one guy, there's a wide open three, somebody, Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, whatever was wide open on the other side. It was just those kind of situations that just continue to be worse and worse, and they look worse than they are because you feel like, man, this team is not playing, but they're actually playing. They're just not communicating and understanding people's tendencies when they're doing that.
All right, lastly, Festus, before we get you out of here, let you take a nap and get ready for the Orlando Magic. And the Warriors are talking to Festus Ezeli. Of course, we all need that nap. An early start, 4 p.m. tip, 3 o'clock pregame, NBC Sports Bay Area. Talk about what we're seeing from Klay Thompson. Patience again. Do you think his slow start is impacting his shot selection at all? Do you think he's forcing it?
No, I see his teammates feeding him, wanting him understanding what Klay Thompson can do.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson is somebody who, at one point, a few years ago, right before he got injured, was the best two-way player in the NBA. You know what that means? It means that he can go down one end and get a stop on anybody, your best player in the league, and come down this end and hit a big shot for us. And so that threat is never going to go away. That threat of who Klay Thompson is, you can see it when he's on the court. They don't leave Klay Thompson open. I don't care how much he's struggling. You don't leave him open because you know that at any point he can explode for 37 and a quarter, which is unbelievable. Now, what I see his teammates doing, which is what the Warriors have always been. This is a great team. This is a great character organization. They want to feed their teammate because they know that they need Klay to win. And so last year, I told you guys this when he first came back from the injury. I said, well, some of those games are going to be sacrificial games because we need to get Klay going if we want to win anything. And so y'all kind of laughed at me at the time because they're like, yo, what do you mean sacrificial games? I meant, like, it doesn't matter if we win or lose these games. If Klay Thompson gets going, if we lose these games, betting on Klay Thompson and he gets going, then we have a better chance of doing the damage we need to do because there's the old adage, start off slow and finish strong. And so for Klay, I think this is just, I mean, he didn't play 5-on-5 all summer. This has to be frustrating. You got to wait because there's a different conditioning when you play in the games. There's a different kind of speed that you play when you play in the games as opposed to just working out. So Klay is just getting his legs back under him, and you see that Steph is feeding him. Like, yo, we'll keep until you get right and give that time as well. Coming back from an injury is not easy. I don't think people understand. When you see somebody walking out there and running on the court, you feel like, oh, well, he's back. No, it's also a mental aspect of the game, and I think that he's battling right now as well.
Festus, I'll see you on the Zoom in about an hour and a half. Magic Warriors today to see if the Warriors can snap this 3-game losing streak, man. 4 in a row. 4 losses under Steve Kerr and Steph Curry. That can't happen tonight. Warriors got to get a win. It'll be a tough game against Orlando. Festus, we always appreciate the time. Talk to you later, buddy.
We got this. I guarantee it.
Guaranteed.
Charles Michael.
Festus.
I'll see you soon, bro.
All right, Festus.
See you, Festus.
Festus Ezeli, NBA champ, former Golden State Warrior, here on the roast. A lot of good intel there about James Wiseman. Patience. It's the little things, right?